What's going on, Defenders? And welcome to One More Sleep, the New England Revolution edition. Now, normally we would have a scarf starting these off on the Instagram Live, but it's going to be me. And as mentioned previously, we're going to be doing a lot of these things on YouTube. So make sure you subscribe, get the notifications, so that way anytime we post this One More Sleep, you know where to find it. We want to build the YouTube channel up now, so we hope that you join us on this platform. Now, Scarf, you are over there in Nina Land, La Nina Land, and you're not looking as jet lag as I would have thought after coming back this morning from Costa Rica.
I'm exhausted, my friend. I am.
You hide it well.
Thank you. I'll say this: the trip was amazing. We will talk about it more on our episode where we'll cover the pregame or postgame. I don't know, for the Alajuelense game here at BMO Stadium, but had an amazing time in Costa Rica. Obviously, your wife Panda went along with Nina and myself. We had a great time. You were sorely missed, my friend, but it was an incredible time. But I mean, I missed you. Let's put it that way. I missed
Thank
you.
you.
We saw almost 80 full minutes of soccer in beautiful Alajuela province. We have a lot to talk about, but it was an incredible trip. Pura Vida for sure, an amazing time, and we cut our trip short, Philly, so that we could make it back for this game tomorrow. What we are doing One More Sleep for, what you and I are calling the Latif Blessing Appreciation Tour at Banc of California Stadium, Philly. Number 7, and I'm not talking about Stipe Buke, number 7 will be back in the building, except he'll be wearing the Defiance kit.
Yeah, and he'll also be wearing the number 19, by the way. Latif Blessing is not going to be wearing number 7. Now, I was going to be in Costa Rica with you guys the day after the game because the idea was we were all going to stay till Monday and have a really good time. Then the LAFC schedule comes out, and lo and behold, the New England Revolution. So for a split second, it was like, whatever. It's the Rev. I don't care. But then the thought dawned on all of us that it's the Latif Blessing comeback game. So we couldn't miss the opportunity to get to see Latif, hopefully get his ring, and hopefully be given a hero's welcome. Latif Blessing obviously spent the first couple of years with us at LAFC, a beloved member, club records in terms of appearances and minutes played. It still guts me when I see the number 7 running on either side of the pitch, and it's not Blessing, but from what I heard in his 85 minutes that he had against Houston, Bruce Arena said he had a tremendous performance. I believe the term he used was, I had it written down here somewhere, excellent. Yes, an excellent performance. So we get to welcome back Latif, man. It's going to be bittersweet.
Yeah, Bruce said something that all LAFC fans should be listening to and going, no duh. He said he made about a dozen plays in that game that go unnoticed. Welcome to what it is to have the game changer, the star man on your roster. For the record, it's Gustavo Bo who's wearing number 7, so Latif's not getting that number anytime soon for the New England Revolution. Gustavo Bo, who we may see making his.
You sure it's not 17?
What?
Are you sure it's not 17 that Gustavo Bo wears?
I'm only going by the New England Revolution's website. That's all I got.
Well, that's where I thought I pulled it from. Whatever. I mean, carry on. Sorry.
But that's okay. We could be seeing Gustavo Bo make his 2023 debut tomorrow. So we can settle that 7 versus 17 debate once and for all. Philly, this is a New England Revolution team that is looking pretty good to start the season. In fact, one of only, 6 teams so far on the season yet to concede, winning their first 2 matches. Charlotte 1-0 at Charlotte, which is a tough place to win at, by the way. And Houston, the Dynamo, got beat pretty badly 3-0, and that's where Latif Blessing, of course, made his debut for the New England Revolution this year. 6 points, starting off the season very, very well for Bruce and the boys.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And obviously, look, Charlotte got their asses whooped today by Atlanta United. We don't know how good they are. And the Houston Dynamo, I don't recall the last time they were good. But either way, to come out red hot like that out of the gates is a really good thing. And they've got players that we have to watch out for. Now, this is kind of crazy, but this is only the second time that we're going to be hosting the Revolution at home. and it's only the third time that we would have ever played them. We would have to go back to September of 2018, a game in which it ended in a draw at the Banc. Brandon Bai was the lone goal scorer for the New England Revolution. And then we end up beating them 2-0 at Gillette Stadium. I remember exactly where we were that day, Scarf. We were at some bar close to your house. A very big, wide open bar. It was me, you, Nina, and there were a couple of other, and Panda, and a couple other supporters that were there. It was pretty close to Redondo Beach. I don't know if you remember, but that was the last time that we saw the New England Revolution during the regular season. Kind of crazy.
I might have put that one in the Wayback Machine. I don't know where we're talking about that, but I do remember 2-0. We played very, very well. Brandon Bai, the only player currently on the New England Revolution to have scored for the New England Revolution against us. That's my player to watch, by the way. More on him in just a little bit. But yeah, we don't get to play these guys very often. Obviously, being in the Eastern Conference with us being in the West, we only play a certain number of Eastern teams every year, and that's going to get smaller and smaller as they keep adding teams as well. So look, we've never lost to them, right? 2 games, a win, a draw. So yay, good for us. But look, what you know going into every New England Revolution game is that they are going to be incredibly well coached by a soccer Hall of Famer, but also a lacrosse Hall of Famer in Bruce Arena. Not sure many people know he was on the 1974 World Cup of Lacrosse, I think, if I'm getting it right. United States championship winning team. He was also on the team in 78. So he's in 2 different sports Hall of Fames. Bruce Arena, as good as it gets in coaching American soccer, right up there with guys like Anson Torrance and Siggy Schmid. And Bruce Arena is as good as it gets. I'm glad he's all the way over there in Boston, and I'm glad he's taking care of Latif Blessing.
Yeah, we used to see him a lot at Baker California Stadium.
Yep.
He would sit up in Founders Club anytime there was a game, but shortly after, I forget exactly, I think it was 2019, he picks up the job. And then, boom, what ends up happening is his team coaches his team to win a supporter shield, which, by the way, is the only supporter shield ever won in the history of the New England Revolution. So you have the last two seasons worth of supporter shield winners going at each other. Now, this is a game in which we're going to look for a couple of players. You mentioned Gustavo Bo, clearly a player to watch. All eyes are certainly going to be on Latif Blessing. A couple other big players that the Revolution picked up were Bobby Wood from Real Salt Lake and Dave Romney from Nashville. But they've got the 2021 MVP in Carlos Heel coming back. His brother is hurt. He's not going to be
Nacho. No Nacho.
No nachos, at least not on the pitch. In Founders Club, you might find them. So he's going to be a player to watch. And then you got a fellow Italian, Scarf, Giacomo Vrioni, designated player coming from Juve. He came in late last season, July. He played in a handful of games. He ended up hurting himself in August. So he didn't get as much run as we thought, but he's obviously been a part of this New England Revolution team and another player to keep an eye out for. But I think the best player on the pitch, Scarf, for New England is not a player that's going to be on the offensive end. It's the guy who's in between the pipes. I don't know what they do down in New England, man, but they certainly do a good job breeding keepers.
Look, Georgi Petrovic is as good as it gets in Major League Soccer. 9 clean sheets, I believe, in just 23 appearances. I want to back up for just a minute about Giacomo. Giacomo Vrioni has been a huge disappointment so far for New England. We're talking about a guy who's played 333 minutes over the course of 9 matches in 2 seasons, did not start in the lineup last game in beating Houston 3-0. He has 1 goal in his MLS career to show for it. Not a whole lot from the Juve transfer. We're talking about a kid who's 24 years old. If you're transferring from Juve to Major League Soccer at 24 years old, you better be ready to set the world on fire. And he has certainly not done that. That's a disappointment. You know me, I love Italians in the MLS. I mean, Giorgio Chiellini is, as far as I'm concerned, he's the second coming of the Messiah. Hope I don't offend anybody by saying that, but you know what? I love Santo Giorgio. So what are you going to do? Bobby Wood, I absolutely agree. But yeah, look, every couple of years, MLS has to turn out a really good player named Georgi. It was Mihailovic who wound up leaving for Europe, and now it's Georgi Petrovic. This kid, I mean, he is as good as it gets between the pipes, Philly. And I agree. Look, I don't want to discount Gustavo Bo. The guy is very, very, very good.
Again, that's our main focal point.
Obviously, Carlos Hill's incredible. He's got an MVP award to his credit. Bobby Wood, the former USA men's national team player who hasn't seen much of the men's national team as of late, but is in MLS and was okay for RSL, but seems to be really picking up steam under Bruce Arena. I'm actually looking at Philly, the right side of their defense. I absolutely love the young duo of Henry Kessler and Brandon Bye. In fact, for me, if we were doing 110 football tomorrow and we had to pick our players to watch, I would absolutely 100% pick Brandon Bye as my player to watch. Of course, we're all going to be watching Latif, right? But Brandon Bye, who scored a goal for them, by the way, in the 4 goals, Philly, that New England has scored so far this season, 4 different goal scorers. So they've got it coming from a lot of different places. But I absolutely love Brandon Bye and Henry Kessler on the right side.
I hear you. And I just want to go back to Giacomo. Look, yeah, he played 2 games at Juve. So before we get all excited about the fact that we're going to see a Juve player, he did only play 2 games. I mean, the majority of his career spent on loan. I mean, he played 24 games with Venice. So that means he wore a pretty cool jersey at some point in his life. But at 24 and a transfer fee of $4 million, he's out. They're obviously going to look towards him. And it could be any time that this kid decides to turn it on. So still somebody to look at. But yeah, as far as my players to watch, I mean, to me, it's this whole team is Heel. Without him, like there's nothing there for the New England Revolution. Maybe Latif Blessing. But he's going to be my player to watch. I don't envision us having a very tough game against the Rev. My only concerning question is going to be who's actually going to play, because we've got a Champions League game on Wednesday. Now, granted, we scored 3 goals on the road. It'll be very tough for Alajuelense to come into the Banc and put up any kind of offense. I mean, because they were basically non-existent at home. But a lot of how this game is going to be dictated is going to be contingent upon who Steve starts. If he's going with the lineup that started the Champions League game and the game against Portland, I think it's going to be lights out, nighty-night before the first half is over. If he's going to tinker with things, put in some of the younger guys, I envision it being a much closer game.
Yeah, I'm going to mention this on our full episode where we talk about this Revolution game, and even possibly on the Alajuelense home game where we have an episode. But I want to say something to Don Garber, the soccer Don. We know you listen to the podcast. Thank you for being a fan. We really appreciate your support. Shame on Major League Soccer. Shame on Major League Soccer for putting this game on the schedule at the time that they did. If you want Major League Soccer to be taken seriously as one of the preeminent leagues in the world, we're not cracking the top 5 anytime soon. But if you want Major League Soccer to be considered in that next tier, then you need to be able to carve out at least some time at the start of these things to give the best players a chance to represent Major League Soccer. Because, Philly, you hit the nail on the head. Who do we start? How many minutes? Who's going to get run? I think this could be a game where we are ripe to see huge, what they like to call roster rotation, right? Maybe it's not Denny Bouanga going a full 90. Maybe he goes 60 like Carlos Vela did in Alajuelense. So maybe it's Carlos that goes the full 90. Mahala played his tail off in Costa Rica. He was incredible for us. Loved his energy on both halves of the pitch, by the way. He was great. Maybe it's Stipe Buke that gets a little bit more run. I find it interesting that the 2 of the players that were given media availability today, Philly, Sergi Palencia and Timothy Tillman.
That tells you a lot.
Yeah, maybe we're going to see a lot more of Palencia and Tillman, which, by the way, Tillman has looked great. I've liked what I've seen from Palencia. We're going to have our depth tested because I'll tell you this. Other than Tillman, I don't know how confident I am, honestly, in Crisostomo. Now, Eric Smith messed me up again by announcing his name as Crisostomo during the ring ceremony, so I have no idea how to say the kid's damn name anymore.
Between him and Max, I have no clue how to say his name either. We'll probably just have to ask him straight up, like, bro, what do we call you?
Right? But Philly, you hit the nail on the head. And how hard are we going to push Ilie Sanchez in these, 3 games in 8
Yeah,
days?
I don't think we
How
push him at all this game.
Right. How hard are we going to push Kellen Acosta? How many more minutes? What are we going to ask of Cheeky Palacios this season? We don't have a backup for Cheeky Palacios. We don't have one. I don't know who would play there. We don't have one. It was nice to see Eric Duenas get a little bit of run, like last minute or two. But Philly, you're absolutely right. Who do we start? What do we do?
Yeah, because the focus, and Steve said it in press conferences, the focus is the Champions League. So maybe, again, the X factor is we scored 3 on the road, which is huge. Absolutely huge. I mean, the hill that Alajuelense needs to climb up is massive. I mean, massive. So that's the thing. I'm sure we'll see a lot more of the youngsters. I'd be really excited to see a little bit more Stipe Buke. He was very impressive in my eyes watching the final 10, 12 minutes of that game in Costa Rica. I know you didn't get the opportunity to because you were getting escorted out of the stadium, but watch.
Wait, not just me though. All of us.
Well, yes.
All of us.
600, however many, 1,000 people that were there, them too. But go back and watch from the time, like you recall leaving up until then. Stipe looks good and exciting. But I will say, just based on how I've seen Mahala play, it's going to be tough for Stipe to usurp him in the starting lineup. I said it before. I said it earlier. I'll say it again. It's Mahala's spot. I don't foresee him losing it unless, God forbid, he gets hurt. But I'm taking that bad juju out of the air. One final thing about this whole scenario with CONCACAF Champions League, keep your eyes out on what Alajuelense does tomorrow, because they are playing a game as well at 4:30. So while I'm not exactly sure if the Costa Rican First Division is going to be on Paramount Plus, but keep your eyes out on the statistics and take a look as to who's going to start in that game. That'll be a huge nod as to what we're looking for them to bring on Wednesday. But needless to say, if we put in our starters, the game's over at halftime. Otherwise, this could be one of those like trap tie games, bro.
Yeah, look, I don't think it's as much of a trap game as it was a setup game by Major League Soccer. Again, I think it goes back to exactly what we were just talking about. By the way, Alajuelense plays Guapiles, who has exactly half as many points this season through 11 matches than Alajuelense does. So not sure Alajuelense is going to need to extend themselves all that much in this match. But I'm just saying, I'm so frustrated at Major League Soccer. I mean, look, you just mentioned it, right? The Costa Rican First Division is doing the same thing to Alajuelense. I guess it happens, right? But really frustrating that we're having to make these type of roster decisions. But if we weren't as thin across the board as we are, I guess I wouldn't be as frustrated with this, right? Like if we had guys like, I don't know, Chicho Arango, Gareth Bale, Christian Teo waiting on the bench to come in situations like this, if we had players like Sebastian Mendez or the player who we're going to see across the way from us wearing number 19, Latif Blessing, in at the midfield, ready to sub in for us. If we had players like Sebastian Abiaga or Franco Escobar,
he scored, by the way.
Did
you see that?
Notice. He did. I know. I mean, look, good for Franco. I don't think it was going to work out well for him here.
No, I meant Sebastian. Didn't Sebastian score today?
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Yes. Sebastian, you're correct. Look, I'm concerned about our depth as much as I want to see guys like Tony Leone, and I want to see guys like Nathan Ordaz, and I want to see guys like Eric Duenas and Christian Torres. I don't want them to have to play in high leverage situations this early in the season. So
no, I would agree.
Look, I guess pressure also makes diamonds, right? So we'll see what happens. But I think this will be a very motivated New England team, a team who has started off the season 2-0 after not making the playoffs last season. We have a matchup, Philly, of the last 2 Supporter Shield winners in Major League Soccer. These are 2 very good, very prideful teams, and I don't see Steve Cherundolo backing down. I know Bruce Arena is not going to back down. We could see their best effort all season, and that's a little scary considering they just dispatched Houston pretty easily 3-0, and we thought Charlotte was going to be good, but apparently their fans are good at talking smack online, and that's about it. But
it's a lot of teams fans, actually.
Yeah, it's I don't know what to expect from LAFC tomorrow, so I'm less bullish on this game, on this match, than you might imagine.
Well, the experts over at Major League Soccer aren't very bullish on how they think New England's going to end up. I think the highest, Sebastian Kleshchen had them at 5th, and the lowest was Marcelo Balboa at 12th. But
wait, did you say Sebastian Kleshchin?
Sorry, Sasha. I was thinking Sebastian Ibiaga.
I didn't
both
know if
kind of
there was
screwed that up. At least I didn't say Pablo Escobar again.
That's true. And we haven't called the stadium by the wrong name yet today. So
yeah, Jesus. Right. Yes, Porn Stash. Sasha Kleshchin has the highest prediction out of everybody who considers himself an MLS expert. 5th place, Marcelo Balboa has them at 12th. Again, contingent upon the starting lineup. There was one other point I wanted to make. Oh, yeah, how you were ranting and raving about Don Garber. What is this? I thought we were done with having Sunday games. What the hell is this nonsense? Not only is it just a Sunday game, it's a Sunday 7:30 p.m. game. Come on, fine. If we have a Sunday game, at least make it a little earlier. A 7:30 on a Sunday night when it was said we wouldn't have Sunday games anymore. That's kind of what pisses me off. But what doesn't piss me off is the fact that I get to see everybody's face tomorrow back at the Banc. Not exactly on Christmas Tree Lane, but, well, around it. And we're going to get to enjoy the return of Latif. That's cool. I'll be cranky after we're done potting at 2 in the morning.
Yeah, right. By the way, 97 appearances for Sebastian Ibiaga in Major League Soccer, and that was his first goal. So kind of neat for Seba Ibiaga. Look, everybody out there, by the way, we get every now and then we get a little bit of flack from some of the posts that we put up about players who have left us because they're always black and gold to us. Sebastian Ibiaga is a player that we would not have won MLS Cup without. He was an integral piece on that back line. So it's okay that we take a minute to celebrate his first ever MLS goal, even if it's one more sleep New England. That being said, Philly, let's get a prediction. How you feeling about this match, bud? What are you thinking?
Oh, geez. If it's the young guys starting, 2-2.
2-2.
If we put in our main roster, I'm going to go with 3-0 again.
I like it. I
got close last time.
I actually think, Philly, that we are going to have a mirror image of our first game at BMO this season.
Ugh. Oh, I'm not a fan of that.
I know. I think we're going to go out to a lead, and I think there's going to be some consternation happening. I think we actually get the dub 2-1 in this match. I'm going 2-1 LAFC. I'm thinking Carlos has to get one at home. I think Carlos, he was our least effective player against Alajuelense, which was...
He had some chances created and some good shots.
Yeah, but I think across the board, he might have been our least effective player, which, by the way...
He had Gatorade bottles thrown out.
If we could have Carlos Vela be our least effective player in a match and win 3-0, I'll take that every single time. That's pretty impressive. But I'm going to go with... Philly has drumsticks. I'm going to go with 2-1. I'm saying Carlos Vela gets one. And
well, then that wouldn't be a mirror image now, would it be, Scarf?
No, I'm saying, it'll be kind of the feel of what we had last game. We go up, we get some nerves late. I'm going to say this, Philly, and this one's for you. I'm saying Stipe opens his account. I'm saying Stipe gets one in the second half. 2-1. Oh God. We're 23 minutes into this. There's no way people are sticking around for Hello Kitty. There's no way.
She agrees with you.
Oh, good. Thank you.
She agrees with you. Just wanted to let you know. She stopped to grasp my attention.
Hey, by the way, if anybody out there can make a little tiny kit for a flex kit for Hello Kitty, we need to get Hello Kitty a flex kit. If we do. All possible.
Yeah, we don't want to annoy the sponsor. I wouldn't either. No. All right.
Yes.
Sorry. No, I was just going to say, all right, we should probably wrap it up.
Let's wrap it up. You guys, we're going to have a full episode on this. Like Philly said, we'll probably get done recording at 2 a.m. tomorrow because thanks, Don Garber, for your 7:30 Sunday game. Anyways, you guys know how we like to end all this fun stuff. One more sleep, New England, tomorrow, Latif Blessing, appreciation party, and I guess Hello Kitty's going to say it for Philly. So, bye-bye.